Hello, welcome back. In my previous video, I described about the general imaging features of meniscal tear. Now, in this video, I will be showing you some of the cases of meniscal tear having characteristic imaging appearance. So, this patient is a 43-year-old female who presented with acute knee trauma. And as we can see, there is acute ACL rupture plus there is gross joint effusion. Now, let's see the menisci. This is the lateral meniscus. Let's zoom it. Okay. So in this lateral meniscus, we can see a horizontal signal intensity here. So there is a horizontal signal intensity. Plus there is a small parameniscal hyperintense structure which gives an appearance of a parameniscal cyst. Let's see that in sagittal plane. So on sagittal plane we can see that this tear is not pure horizontal, but it is going towards the inferior articular surface also. So this is a complex tear involving the posterior horn of lateral meniscus, and it is also involving the body of the lateral meniscus. So a complex tear is basically combination of one, two or three different varieties of tear. Like it can be a combination of horizontal and vertical tear, horizontal and vertical tear, or it can be a combination of radial tear and vertical or horizontal tear. So in general practice, we get to see more of complex tear than any particular pure tear subtype. So in this lateral meniscus, we can see that there is a combination of horizontal and vertical tear, plus there is parameniscal cyst. Let's move towards the medial meniscus. As we can see, this is the posterior horn of medial meniscus, and there is a tear involving the superior leaflet of the posterior horn, and this has a flap component which is extending into the intercondylar notch, and there is another flap component which is extending into the meniscofemoral recess. Let's see that in sagittal plane. So we can see now here, generally the posterior horn of medial meniscus is larger than the anterior horn, but here the meniscal tissue is very less. Why it is very less? Because it has torn and it has displaced into the meniscofemoral recess and in the intercondylar notch, but they are still attached with the menisci. So this is a flap tear involving the posterior horn of medial meniscus. And there is a slight meniscal extrusion also seen, plus there is tear involving the deep component of the medial collateral ligament. And there is gross hyperintensity and edema involving the postomedial joint capsule. So there is meniscocapsular separation and injury involving the postomedial corner. Let's move to next case. Okay, so this is a case of a 23-year-old male who has no obvious history of trauma. This is the lateral meniscus. Let's see that in coronal plane. Okay, so this is the mid-coronal image, and here we can see the lateral meniscus is covering quite large portion of the tibial plateau. So let's measure it. So this is covering approximately 2.5 centimeter width of the tibial plateau. So this is a discoid meniscus, and this patient is not having any history of trauma but is having pain and flaking. So the clinician suspected some meniscal pathology and ordered MRI. So because of this discoid meniscus, which is congenital discoid meniscus, this patient has developed certain types of tear in this meniscus. Now let's classify the tear. So as we can see, there is a horizontal component of the tear which is very clear. So there is a horizontal tear here, and there is a vertical tear also seen, which is going towards the free edge of the meniscus. Let's see it in axial plane. So this vertical hyperintensity can be seen in the longitudinal vertical tear, or it can be seen in the radial tear. So we need to see the axial sequence to confirm the subtype. So as we can see in the axial plane, the meniscal hyperintensity is going in this manner. So this is a radial tear. So this is a radial tear which is involving the inner aspect of the menisci, and it is extending towards the inner free edge of the menisci. So there is combination of a horizontal and a radial tear, and because of horizontal tear you can see there are certain hyperintense structures peripheral to this menisci. Let's see it in axial plane. So we can see there are certain hyperintensity peripheral to the menisci. Because of this horizontal tear, there is formation of multiple small complex parameniscal cysts. So these are small parameniscal cysts with adjacent edema. So in this young patient who is just 23-year-old, this patient is having a congenital complete discoid meniscus, and this discoid meniscus has undergone degeneration and tear. There is combination of a horizontal and a radial tear, plus there is formation of multiple tiny parameniscal cysts. Rest of the joint structures are normal. He is having normal ACL, PCL. There is no marrow edema. There is slight hyperintensity in the posterior horn of medial meniscus. It may be because of mucoid degeneration. So this is grade 1 signal intensity. It is inhomogeneous and subtle hyperintense in nature. So it is not reaching any of the articular surface. So it is grade 1 signal intensity in the posterior horn of medial meniscus, and it will not be classified as tear. Let's move to next case. This is the case of 45-year-old male. He is a case of chronic ACL tear. As we can see, there is less joint effusion, there is no marrow edema, and in the expected location of anterior cruciate ligament, we cannot see any obvious ligament tissue. And so this is a case of chronic ACL tear. Plus, this patient has developed osteophytes in the femur as well as tibia. So there is development of the secondary osteoarthritis. We can see here small osteophytes are seen. This is the medial meniscus. This is the posterior horn of medial meniscus. And as we can see, there is decreased joint space in the medial femorotibial compartment. Plus, there is cartilage degeneration and defects. So there is presence of cartilaginous degeneration and defects, and there is meniscal extrusion. The meniscus is not lying in its normal place, but it has extruded outside. So it has extruded outside. This is meniscal extrusion. We can measure it. So this is approximately 3.8 mm. So it is more than 3 mm, and so it is meniscal extrusion. And we can see in the posterior horn of medial meniscus there is inhomogeneous hyperintensity, and it is not having any characteristic imaging appearance of any horizontal or vertical tear. So this is a complex tear involving the posterior horn of medial meniscus. We can also see that in coronal plane. So there is complex tear. It has a horizontal component and an oblique component. Thus there is meniscal extrusion, and there are tear involving the deep component of the medial collateral ligament, and there are osteophyte spurring, cartilaginous degeneration. Let's see the lateral meniscus. Lateral meniscus looks quite normal except for slight hyperintensity in the anterior root attachment. So this is lateral meniscus, the posterior horn, this is the anterior horn. As we move towards medial side, you can see there is slight hyperintensity in the anterior horn of the lateral meniscus. So it can be just meniscal edema or contusion which has not resolved. This is not a characteristic tear. And we can also see there is a normal variation here, transverse meniscal ligament. This is the transverse meniscal ligament. It attaches the anterior horn of two menisci. So in this case of chronic ACL tear, this patient is just 45-year-old, but he is developing changes of secondary osteoarthritis. There are cartilaginous degeneration, osteophytes, and the meniscus, medial meniscus is almost gone. It is outside the joint. It has extruded out. So, okay, let's move to the next case. This is again a case of ACL tear. So here the expected location of anterior cruciate ligament, this is not going towards the femur but it is lying over the tibia. So it is abnormal in course, abnormal in signal intensity. Posterior cruciate ligament is showing buckling. Okay, so posterior cruciate ligament is showing buckling. There are no obvious marrow contusion or edema. The patient is not in the acute phase of injury. Let's see the lateral meniscus. This is the lateral meniscus. This is the cut involving the body of the lateral meniscus, which is normal. But as we move towards the central aspect, we can see there is absence of meniscal tissue here. So there is ghost meniscus sign. The ghost meniscus sign are seen in radial tear or root tear. So now we are suspecting radial tear in this case, and we will confirm it in other planes. And as you can see, there is meniscal extrusion also seen. So the lateral meniscus is slightly extruded outside, which is again a sign of radial tear or root tear. This is the anterior root attachment of the lateral meniscus, which is completely normal. And now let's see here. So there is a large defect in the posterior horn of lateral meniscus. This defect is quite broad in size. And meniscal tissue medial to this tear is normal. So there is a broad radial tear involving the posterior horn of lateral meniscus, and the root attachment is normal. Let's see that in axial plane. So here we can see this is the lateral meniscus, this is the anterior root, anterior horn and body, which are normal. And there is a wide radial tear involving the posterior horn of lateral meniscus, and the meniscal tissue medial to this tear is quite normal. So the root attachment is intact. This is the root attachment of the lateral meniscus, which is intact. But because of this radial tear, this meniscus has become unstable, and it has extruded out of the joint. So there is a radial tear involving the posterior horn of lateral meniscus, plus there is meniscal extrusion. And let's see the medial side. This is the anterior root of this is the anterior horn, and this is the anterior root attachment of the medial meniscus, which is completely normal. This is the body of medial meniscus. This is the posterior horn, and we can see the posterior horn is having complex tear. There is combination of multiple linear signal intensities involving the posterior horn, and so this is a complex tear involving the posterior horn of the medial meniscus. The posterior root attachment is normal. And as you can see, there is combination of vertical, horizontal tear involving the posterior horn. Let's move to next case. Okay, so this is a case of 34-year-old male. And he's also a case of chronic ACL tear. So there is no obvious joint effusion or just minimal joint effusion seen. And the ACL is lying over here over the tibial plateau. The posterior cruciate ligament is showing buckling. This is the medial meniscus, and it is not normal. It is showing vertical hyperintensity involving the anterior as well as posterior horn. Plus there is edema involving the medial femoral condyle, and the overlying cartilage is also showing hyperintensity. So there is osteochondral injury involving the medial femoral condyle. There is injury involving the cartilage as well as the underlying bone. And the anterior and posterior horn of the medial meniscus is showing vertical hyperintensity. Let's see that in other planes. So this is the portion of the body of medial meniscus, and there is vertical hyperintensity seen here. And there is osteochondral injury involving the medial femoral condyle, the cartilage as well as underlying bone showing edema. Let's see in axial plane. Okay, so in axial plane we can see this linear hyperintensity is traversing from the posterior horn to the body, and it's going towards the anterior horn. So this is vertical longitudinal tear involving the medial meniscus, and this is not displaced right now. So the inner fragment is in its place. If it gets displaced, like if it comes here in the intercondylar notch, then it will give rise to bucket handle tear. So presently in this patient, there is no bucket handle tear. There is only vertical longitudinal tear that is not displaced. So this is the case of vertical longitudinal tear, plus there is osteochondral injury because of trauma, and there is chronic ACL tear. The lateral meniscus is completely normal. And there is slight amount of edema in the meniscocapsular region. and there is slight edema in the posterior root attachment of the medial meniscus is also seen. Okay, let's move to next case. So this is a case of 39-year-old female, and there is ACL rupture in this case, and we can see anterior to the posterior cruciate ligament there is some meniscal fragment present here. Let's trace it. So this is the medial meniscus, and as we can see in the peripheral sagittal section, there is no characteristic bow tie appearance of the medial meniscus. So there is loss of meniscal tissue here, and there is presence of extra meniscal tissue here, just posterior to the anterior horn, and this meniscal, the extra meniscal tissue is present here also near the posterior horn. And this meniscal tissue, you can see this is the fragment which is seen in the intercondylar notch. Let's see it in other planes. So as we can see, this is the medial meniscus, and the body is thinned out and there is extra meniscal tissue present here. So this is a case of bucket handle tear, in which there is vertical longitudinal tear which has displaced. So we can see in the axial plane there is bucket handle tear here which has displaced from its position, and there is extra meniscal tissue in the intercondylar notch. There is extra meniscal tissue in the intercondylar notch giving double PCL sign, and this is the double delta sign. So there is one triangle, there is another triangle, this is double delta sign. Plus double delta sign is seen here in the posterior aspect also. And there is absence of bow tie sign. When we section the menisci in the peripheral sagittal plane, we fail to see any typical bow tie appearance of the meniscus, and so this is absent bow tie. There is double delta sign, there is double PCL sign. So this is a case of bucket handle tear. We can see here, this is the handle of the bucket, and this is the bucket. I hope it is clear. Let's move to next case. Okay, so this is a case of 22-year-old male who presented severe trauma in the knee just 2 or 3 days back, and this patient presented with gross knee swelling and instability, and as we can see in the intercondylar region there is no ACL here. So the ACL is lying over here on the tibial tuberosity. There is complete ACL tear over its femoral attachment, and we can see the posterior cruciate ligament is also torn. So this is the tibial attachment of posterior cruciate ligament, which is normal. The PCL is thickened, hyperintense, and there is some hypointensity here. So let's confirm it. What is it? So as we can see here, this is posterior cruciate ligament, and this structure is a bone. It is having fatty marrow in it. So there is avulsion fracture of the posterior cruciate ligament from its femoral attachment site, which is quite rare. We generally see avulsion fracture from the tibial attachment site, not from the femoral attachment site. But in this case, the fragment has come out from the femoral attachment site. So there is avulsion fracture of the posterior cruciate ligament from the femoral attachment site, and there is complete ACL and PCL tear, The knee is grossly unstable. There is anterior translation of tibia, and there is gross edema involving the femur as well as tibia, and there is edema involving the fibula as well. And there is presence of fractures also seen. So there is a hypointense line here over the lateral femoral condyle. So this is a non-displaced fracture surrounded by edema. And there is fracture involving the head of fibula also seen. We can see that in axial plane. So on axial plane we can see there is cortical break involving the head of fibula. So there is fracture involving the head of fibula here. There is severe posterolateral corner injury in this patient who is having acute ACL and PCL tear. And let's see the coronal plane. So there is gross edema involving the fibula because of fracture. There is edema in the tibial plateau, and there is edema involving the femoral condyle, more on the lateral side. And there is fracture also seen here, although not displaced. And on high axial sequence, we can see that there is a osteochondral loose body also present. So we need to report this. We need to give the size of this fragment. Let's move to meniscus. This is the lateral meniscus. This is the posterior root attachment of the lateral meniscus. Sorry, anterior root attachment of the lateral meniscus. This is the body. This is the posterior root attachment of the lateral meniscus, and the lateral meniscus appear quite intact. Let's see in sagittal plane. So these are the cuts of the lateral meniscus, and there is no obvious tear involving the lateral meniscus. There is slight amount of hyperintensity here, but I don't think it is seen here. There's just subtle hyperintensity. It may be a small horizontal tear, but there is no gross injury involving the lateral meniscus. Let's see the medial meniscus. The medial meniscus is showing a lot of pathology. So the medial meniscus is not in its right place. It is outside the joint. It is here. It is present here. So it has a completely extruded out. And it is also floating. It is not overlying the tibia. It is floating. It has come upwards. So there is floating of the medial meniscus. There is extrusion of the medial meniscus. Let's see its root attachment. So this is the anterior root attachment of the medial meniscus, which is normal. The anterior root attachment is intact. But the posterior root attachment is not visualized. Let's see that in other planes. So in the region of posterior root, we don't see any meniscal tissue. So this is ghost meniscus sign. We don't see any meniscus here. This is ghost meniscus sign, which is a sign of radial or root tear. So this patient is having complete tear involving the posterior root attachment of medial meniscus. And as I have already described, that in cases of radial tear or in root tear, meniscus loses its stability and it moves outside the joint. So there is gross meniscal extrusion here because of this root tear. And as we can see, this is the medial collateral ligament. Femoral attachment is comparatively intact, but the tibial attachment is completely torn. So there is complete tear involving the tibial attachment site of the medial collateral ligament, and there is root tear involving the medial meniscus, meniscal extrusion. So there are multiple fractures, loose bodies, and there is aversion fracture involving the posterior cruciate ligament and complete thickness tear of the anterior cruciate ligament. Okay, so let's see next case. This is the case of 27-year-old male who is having no obvious history of trauma. This is the medial meniscus, which is normal. This is the lateral meniscus, which is not normal. It is having continuous bow tie appearance in multiple sagittal sections. So we are suspecting discoid meniscus, right? So let's see. So this is the mid-coronal plane, the lateral meniscus, and we can measure it. It is 2 centimeter. It is more than 15 mm. So it is complete discoid meniscus. And this patient is young. He is not having any history of trauma, but the patient is having pain in the knee joint along the joint line, and it is because of the tears in the discoid meniscus. So this discoid meniscus is not normal, but it is having degeneration. It is having horizontal signal intensity. So there is presence of horizontal signal intensity here. Let's see in other planes. There is presence of horizontal signal intensity in the discoid meniscus. So this discoid meniscus is degenerated. And rest of the structures in the joint are intact. ACL, PCL, the medial meniscus is normal. There is no obvious joint effusion. The tibiofibular joint is also normal. And there are no obvious degenerative changes in the articular cartilage. Let's move to next case. This is the case of 58-year-old female, and she is an old lady, and she twisted her leg, she twisted her knee, and as we can see, the fibers of the ACL are showing hyperintensity. However, they are not completely torn. So there is low-grade ACL trauma, ACL sprain. Posterior cruciate ligament is intact. There is joint effusion. This is the lateral meniscus. Lateral meniscus is normal. There is no obvious marrow edema. There are slight cystic, subchondral cystic changes in the tibial plateau. This patient is old. She is having an osteophytosis and cartilaginous degenerative changes. So this subchondral cystic change is a sign of osteoarthritis or degenerative joint disease. Now coming to medial side, as the medial half of the knee joint is weight bearing area of the knee, so it is more prone to cartilage injuries and joint space narrowing. So we can see the cartilage is showing areas of hyperintensity, which is indicative of cartilage degeneration. And there is subchondral cystic changes underlying the tibial spines, which is because of degenerative joint disease. As we can see, this medial meniscus is showing extrusion. So again, if there is meniscal extrusion, we should suspect radial or root tear. So there is meniscal extrusion in this case. And this meniscus body is also showing areas of hyperintensity. This is the anterior root attachment of the medial meniscus, which is normal. Let's see the anterior root attachment. So this is the anterior root attachment of the medial meniscus, which is intact. It is not torn. This is the body. This is also normal. but in the region of posterior root, we are not able to see any meniscal tissue. So again, this is the closed meniscus sign. Let's see that in coronal plane. As we can see, there is abrupt tear involving the posterior root attachment of the medial meniscus. And these root tears are quite common in cases of osteoarthritis. So this patient is having osteoarthritis, but she twisted her knee also. And this root tear looks like it is chronic. So it is not because of the ACL trauma or because of twisting of the knee, but it is because of degenerative joint disease. And this patient is having meniscal extrusion and degenerative changes in the articular cartilage, subchondral edema and cystic changes, plus osteophytes. And here we can see the meniscofemoral and meniscotibial ligament are intact, but there is slight hyperintensity adjacent to it. So there is sprain in the medial collateral ligament also seen. Okay, so this was a case of degenerative joint disease with root tear and meniscal extrusion. Let's move to next case. This is a case of 36-year-old male. There is ACL tear in this case. ACL is not seen. ACL is lying over here over the tibial plateau. And the posterior cruciate ligament is showing question mark sign, or it is showing buckling. This is the medial meniscus. And medial meniscus is showing subtle areas of hyperintensities. So there is fraying along the inferior leaflet of the meniscus. So as we can see, there is slight fraying involving the inferior leaflet of the posterior horn of medial meniscus. The root attachments are normal. Let's move to lateral meniscus. In lateral meniscus, we are seeing lot of things. So in this lateral meniscus, there are multiple intra-substance signal intensity. There is predominantly horizontal component here. So there is horizontal tear, and multiple other signals are also seen in the meniscus. So there might be presence of multiple parallel horizontal tears involving the body of the lateral meniscus. The root attachment is normal. This is the root attachment which is normal. This is posterior root which is again normal. This is posterior root. This is the posterior root of the medial meniscus. Both are normal. And because of this horizontal tear, the patient is having a complex parameniscal cyst. Multiloculated parameniscal cyst is present here. As we can see, this is anteroposterior extent of the parameniscal cyst, and this is the craniocaudal extent, and this is the mediolateral extent. So we need to give the size of the parameniscal cyst and describe the tear which is causing this parameniscal cyst. So in this young patient who is having chronic ACL tear, there is presence of horizontal tears in the lateral meniscus. So there is presence of complex parameniscal cyst. I showed you cases of longitudinal vertical tear, horizontal tear, radial tear, discoid meniscus, and a case of parameniscal cyst. I showed you case of two cases of root tear with meniscal extrusion. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Thank you.